been chasing the qualifiers. This qualifies for feeder masters, hasn't it? So.
What are you doing now? Just waiting till end or?
No, I'm just putting a few.
Is that where you were? I was there. See if there's any fish here. You've been all around there. See you.
19. And I'm going right over there. The mighty wall. Right then, I've drawn peg 19. It's not the end peg. It's quite muddy down there. I'm going to put the platform on and everything, so we shall see. And apparently they did not weigh on Wednesday. Typical. So I've drawn the organiser's peg out for him, and that was bang on. Typical. Right, they seem like a good set of lads. I'm going to get my gear out, we'll get down to the bank and we'll see what it's all about. So it's, according to those guys, one guy said, oh, it can be a very good peg, but it didn't weigh in on Wednesday. What can you do? I know nothing about it, means nothing to me. We'll plumb it up, find a decent area and see how we get on. Right, see you on the bank. Right, here I am. Well, it's supposed to, I'm on peg 20 now because the carper guys down there wouldn't move. They must have known they were a match on, but they said no, we're not moving. So I've ended up on peg 20 and Terry is on 21 at the end there, end peg. He's chucking it into oblivion. Absolutely, I don't know how far he's chucking, but he's flexing his muscles. Right, sorry about that. I've plumbed it up. At 40 metres, it's ever so slightly deeper, 42 metres, and I'm talking hardly anything. But just looking at what everybody else is doing, they all seem to be fishing at distance, and I would say there's probably, I don't know, there might be. It's almost a 1 count out there with a 1.5 ounce bomb, but it is firing in when you chuck it a long way. So I'm guessing we've got 4 or 5, maybe 5 foot, something like that. 5 foot out there. Quite shallow. And I'll tell you where I've gone. So I had a plumb round and it's all pretty much, as you can see, it's quite level. Drops off a little bit, and that's what's happening here. It's quite level here, all the way here, and then it just slowly drops off. When you get to about 25 metres, 30 metres, it's probably 3 or 4 to 5 foot as you're going a little bit further out. So I've ended up finding a nice spot at 62 metres. I just thought I'd get a little bit further away from the shallows. We've got wind behind, which is not ideal. I prefer it to be coming this way. I fancy them pegs over there, they're in with us. I fancy them to do all right with the wind blowing that way. So, excuse me, I've decided on just to go. I've not fished it before, brand new venue for me. Looking around, and you've got to go off what other people are doing. It seems to be a one-hole approach, which is what I'm going to do today. I was thinking about having a look at 42, but then when they decided that they were starting 15 minutes early, I thought, no, I'll just stick with the 1 hole. So I've put 5 7-hole Guru bait hook feeders out there, 3 on the deck and 2 I've emptied. As soon as it hits the water, I've emptied it on top, just to spread that bait a little bit. So I've got a method set up. Method works quite well on here apparently, and there are some big carp in. I don't know how many, but obviously with carpers knocking about, they're targeting big fish. And some nice bream. Apparently if you get one, it's probably £5-ish, 4 or 5. So they're decent sized bream. Nobody's caught anything yet. I was probably a minute or 2 late, even though they started 15 minutes early. So I'm all right. I've put 5 bait hooks out there. I'm not sure how patient to be. I'm going to have 10-minute casts. In fact, I'm due to have a a recast now. Where I did notice though, and I'm going to see if I can get there with a 30 gram winder feeder. It plugged, it didn't, when I've chucked a 1.5 ounce bomb out there, it didn't feel as soft as that. So I did notice my cast went slightly, ever so slightly, right of where the bait hooks are, which I wasn't unhappy with because it was fairly close anyway. So I'm going to see if I can get that bit more accurate, because it didn't feel as soft as that when I've chucked a bomb out. So it seems like I've got to be a little bit more right of where I am, because that was definitely plugged. So I've got quite a short hook length on today as well. I've got like a 10-inch fluorocarbon boom and a 6-inch hook length. So what we got there, 10 16 inch, is that like 40 centimetres or so. And I've just started on traditional. I've just put double maggie on a size 12. And now you're thinking might be a bit big, but we know that doesn't matter anymore, don't we? Single maggot on 12 though, catching them on that guru underwater. So I've put a size 12 on 0.15 fluorocarbon. And I've got worms. I'll show you what we've got here. So I've got casters, worm. I'm putting a little bit of worm in to start with. I'm not sure how much they'll want. I can up it if I want, just to see if it has a reaction. If it does, then I know they want more. At the minute I'm just putting little bits in. Micros, bit of whizzed up corn. We've got some fluoro pinkies. I've only got a few of those in. Some dead reds and ground bait. Worms, that's it. So I've got some worms put on the hook if needs be. So nobody's hooked into anything yet. Let's see how we get on, and we'll take it steady. Right, I've hit my target on the last 2 casts, and I had a quick jab and I missed a bite, and I've just had a positive bite there. I don't think it's a big massive one. Not sure what it is. I think it's a bream or a skimmer. Just on double maggot. So that's a good sign, and that came after like 4.5 minutes. What I have noticed is there's 1 or 2 boulders knocking about, so I'm having to put my rod high. Oh, it's starting to feel quite a bit heavier now. I don't want to catch any of them boulders or rocks. A nice bream, nice little hump on its back. Oh, it's a lot bigger than I thought. Yeah, it certainly didn't feel as big as that. It's got to be four pound, maybe £5 or so. So a nice start. Bottom lip. I have to get discouraged, I can't quite get my finger on it. Yeah, so proper bream then. That was nice. Nice start for Nosh. So we'll put that down as a 4 pounder at least, maybe 5. Maybe 5 that one. Yeah. So yeah, good little start for Nosh there. 4.5. I've got the helicopter rig on. So, a couple of dead reds, so I might as well do that again. I've not started using any tricks or anything yet, just putting ground bait, a few particles in. A few micros, a few dead reds. A couple of bits of caster, a little flick of the whizzed up corn, and a little flick of chopped worm. So I'm not quite sure about the chopped worm yet. how they respond here, not fishing it. So with it being shallow, I'm not compressing it right in, keeping it fairly, I would say a soft squeeze. So let's get back out there. Ever so slightly to the right, that one, but one or two of the bait ups did go there. Probably about a metre off my preferred target. Let's see how silty that is there. Oh look, not too bad, so I'm happy with that, that's fine. So the line's sunk. There we go, and we're back fishing again. I'll get the timer on. So I'm just feeling my way in at the minute. Now that's a good start. I always like to just move that feeder, that first little bit, just give it a quick move. Releases a bit of bait and hopefully straightens your hook length out. What I have noticed is with having a short hook length like this, and I think it's on the retrieve, I don't think it's on the cast, because obviously I've left it when I've been reeling it in when there's been nothing on. With it being so short, it just seems to, it's wrapped round a couple of times. The hook length went in my feeder. I don't know if it's with the feeder bouncing about when you're reeling it in, not sure. But obviously we're definitely fishing when it hits the clip. You've got to hit the clip fairly hard, make sure you get all that line straightened out. And we're back fishing, so good start for Nosh. So I won't be leaving it more, and that was 4.5 minutes. I'll probably 7 minutes max. We'll just see how it goes. If I don't start getting any bites after sort of 6-7 minutes, I'll leave it back to the 10 minutes. I'll put 5 down for it. We'll put 5 down. It might be a 5-pounder. It certainly felt heavier when it got closer in, obviously when it's starting to panic, but when I first hooked into it I didn't think it was as big as what that was, but lovely start. Nice fish those. That's what we've come for. Nice one. Right. Be nice if it had just gone straight round for you, wouldn't it? But natural waters, you know what they're like. Good start for Nosh. 3 casts in and a fish. Let's hope we get another one. So at least I know where, if I go left of my target, that is really silty. And I've noticed when you walk about here as well, you can be on some firm stuff, and a yard to your left or right, it can just sink. So there's definitely areas where it's harder than others. So plumbing about is definitely key around here, I would have thought. Let's see if we can get another one, people. Nice. Right. I'm getting some strange, I have a couple of liners and some strange jabby type bites. There were smaller fish. I've had a perch. So this is my second cast. I went on to method. And it almost looked like a liner until I saw that it nodded its head. And then I've lifted and I've got one. Now the guy to my left, he's had 2. And Terry to my right, he's had 1. And apparently they are catching on the other bank where the wind's blowing in. But how far are we in? We're an hour and 45 in. I've got a perch, a bream, and hopefully another one. And they're good stamp fish, these, I'll give it that for sure. These got to be at least, there's a nice chunky one, it's got to be about £5 I reckon. Yeah, lovely stamp fish them. Pink wafter. Again, it'll be another one round about the £5 mark, I would have thought. Lovely deep fish. Very good nick. Can't complain about that, can we? This is what we've come for, people. A few bream. Always nice to get one on the hybrid, isn't it? Get all that snot off. See if that wafter's still sitting okay. It's just wrapped around there. No, it's just starting to lean on one side, so I'm not happy with that. And I think, I don't know his name, the guy to my left, I'm sure it's catching on corn, and I have just set, I've just got a hook length made up with a quick stop on to put a piece of corn on, because I have been feeding a bit of whizzed corn. I've even got a few pieces mixed in with the micros as well, so there's bits of corn going out there all the time. Just adds a bit of colour to the micros. And I've got a 6-inch hook length on this one. If I think I'm missing a few, I will. No, I just like to use a 6-inch hook length when I'm hybriding for bream. So let's get this back out there. Absolutely on the money, that one. Perfect. Sink. Right, so that's two bream and a perch. Maybe, if they are £5 a piece, maybe £10. And going off Wednesday's match, I think you're going to need £40, £50. I don't know, I'm just going off the results from the other day. There were some 30s and 20s. There's a guy a bit further down, he's had a bream. I'll have to ring Gav, see how they're getting on over there, but there's fish being caught, and I need to put my coat on as well. Actually, I should have nipped out and got my coat, 'cause I'm starting to shiver a little bit. It's come cold as that wind. Sweating my socks off with walk down. Yeah, it's strange that, because the bite on the conventional or a typical bream, this was sort of like a liner steady, and then I just saw the nod of its head. So they're not moving far at all when you hook one. It's almost as if they're lifting up, because it hardly moved at all, the tip. And I reckon it was probably on, because I thought it was lying, I reckon it might have been on for a good 5 or 6 seconds, because it was just looked like a liner. And then it nodded, so I nearly lifted, because I wasn't quite sure. But I reckon that were on for quite a few seconds before I lifted into it. Right, God, I'm gonna have to go get my coat. I'm shivering like crazy here. I can see the end of my tip shaking because I'm shivering. Right. Hopefully we'll get a few more. So we are now. Oh, it's quarter. Is that the right time? Thought it was later than that. Right. It's 17 minutes past 12. They started at quarter past, but we finish at 4:30. Seems like they want an extra 15 minutes, these boys. Right. Hopefully, see you on the next one. Right. It's an hour or so later, and I have had some more fish, but they've only been roach. I've just put 3 red worms on. Just going to give that a go. I have been putting a bit of worm through my feed. I've put a little bit more worm in on this one just to see if I get a reaction. Terry's had another bream, so us 3 in a line here have had 2 bream apiece. We've heard that the best is 4 bream over there, and somebody else has got 3, and then it's 2, and then a few blanks. But from what they've been saying, it's not a bad start, this. They tend to catch in the last hour or so. So, I mean, I don't really know. What I will say is that with the wind being behind, it's been quite easy to keep accurate. It's not blowing left, it's not blowing right. So far, it's been okay to keep it accurate, and I've been pretty much on the money. If I've wanted to go left or right, I have done, but it's not resulted in any fish. Oh, is a guy there has he got a bream? Not sure. Yeah, there's another bream just come out now. That's the first bream I've seen that guy catch. And it's notable that some of them are sat right back where, probably 8 metres or so further in front. So he's probably casting where I saw that slightly deeper hole at about that sort of distance. So for him it'll probably be 50 metres. So 42 metres there, and that's slightly deeper. When I say slightly, it was ever so slightly. It's an area that there's probably, if I come and have another visit, it might be worth putting some bait on and having a look after a few hours fishing. I've been watching where he's been casting. I thought that's about the same line that I found, that slightly deeper water. I've also noticed on the way in, which I've not noticed before, even when I've had them bream, there's a snag at about 25-30 metres that I keep catching on. Because I did have a roach or a skimmer on, and I lost it in that snag. And I had the rod in the air as well, so I know there were boulders, because you've just got to look round. Oh. That's going to be another roach, can't believe it. I thought I'd put them 3 worms on, try and get away from them. Roach or skimmer. Or perch. I just started slopping some ground bait up, just to try and cloud it up a little bit. 'Cause I did have some liners early on, but those liners have disappeared, which you never know if there's still a bream there, but I'm definitely not getting bream liners anymore. Terry said he had a liner as well. I've not seen any fish top or roll or anything like that. Is this one for the net, or is it a swinger? A swinger. Let's have a look. And we'll swing you in. You greedy little sod. 3 red worms. So there's roach moved in on my peg. Goddamn things. My glasses on, because they are tricky little buggers, don't these red worms. I've tried Dendra, never had a bite. It's just that these wriggle a bit more, but they can tend to attract those kind of fish. I'll go for 3 again. So I've slot that ground bait up there. And we'll see if we can get it on the money again. Lovely. I'm happy with that. Ever so slightly left of target. Ever so slightly, not much. Maybe a foot or so. It's just the man on the peg over there, on the end peg over there, is my line. And I went to where his tackle is. I can see his tackle. It landed where his tackle is. So let's have a look and see if that's okay. So that's not in the silt. Still not quite sunk. With it being shallow, it just does tend to take a little bit longer to sink. Because obviously when it's deeper, it sinks pretty quick, doesn't it? But it's just taking a little bit longer. And the difference in the bites, the bream, as big as what they are, the wimps at biting compared to these roach. I mean, these are just like tuk, 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 tuk. And some of them have really give it a whack. You'd think, oh, it's got to be an hybrid or a good skimmer or something, but no. The bream bites are just little tugs. In fact, on the method it was pathetic. I used to get some spinach down it, does that bream. So we're still on £10 and a few bits. But going off what these have said, I'm hoping with being accurate that we'll have some bream turn up. But are these roach clearing everything out? And what I did a little bit earlier, I got my 7-hole bait up feeder, and I emptied one on top just to put a little bit of extra bait down, because I'd been on the method, so there were no casters and bits of worm and bits of corn going out. So I emptied one on top and then I've gone back on it. Will that work? I'm out towards the end, I don't know. Shall I have 3 or 4 short time casts, or shall I empty some bait out there and go straight over the top towards the end? So it's a little bit of a plan that's going through my head at the minute. Will it work? I don't know. Apparently it's quite a lot deeper going towards the damn wall down there. You get to about 10 foot in areas. But there just doesn't seem to be any signs of bream at the minute. What I will say, with that slightly shorter hook length, every fish has been nailed in the bottom lip, so that's obviously working. And I've opted for because it's a shallow, I've opted for the cage window feeder rather than a solid one. I don't see the point of that, because most of the bait will get to the bottom with it being as shallow as where it is. So I've also got one of these which I might have a go with, just so there's more particles falling through when I'm casting out there. Rocket cage. That's an option I've got which I've not tried yet, which after the 5 bait ups I wasn't too fussed. It's like I say, I've not seen anybody put the amount of bait I've put out there. I've seen them casting, one or two casting out, but these two guys left and right, these are regulars. I've not seen them bait anything up too much. So have I overgunned it? I don't know, I don't think so, not which size of them bream. If I've had a shoal of bream moving, they'll have cleared that out in no time. So there's options still available to try and attract a few more fish. We'll see how we get on. So fingers crossed we hook into a few. What we got? 1:30, so with 3 hours left. I might actually, I've also got an option maybe emptying a feeder full and then sticking a method straight over the top.
This is the nice side of Foulridge, where you catch fuck all.
I won't repeat what he just said, I'm sure you could hear. But there you go. He's not catching 100 pound in Teddy, he's not happy. Right. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Right, there's 2 hours 20 minutes left. We've just heard that the guy, I drew his peg for him this morning. I think it's the organiser. I drew him peg 41. I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. He's had 8 bream. I think somebody's got 4, all on that other side. And then it's 3 and 2 and then a couple of blanks. I've had some more roach. All I can get is roach. I'm getting indications, but them roach are not going to win anything. So I've emptied some ground bait and some micros at 62, and I've just plonked a method feeder over the top just to see if we can get away from them roach and hopefully hook into a bream. But I'm 8 minutes into my cast now, not had a sign, no liners and nothing. So what do we do, people? He's catching on a dendra over there and I've not had a sign on dendra, so that might be my next option. I might try, because the maggots, even though I've had a bream on the maggot, them roach seem to have moved in. Is it the chopped worm that's brought them in? Is it the casters? I don't know. Not sure. So I might just put quite a bit of chopped worm in right before we're rudely interrupted. Right, so what I'm thinking I might put quite a lot of chopped worm in, just have a look into the window feeder, a few casters, a few dead reds. No, I'm going to cut the dead reds out and just sloppy ground bait with a few micros. I think we'll just have a look at that and stick it. It's a full dendra. Apparently that's where he's catching on, and just have a look. I've not had a sign on this hybrid. If there were them big bream there though, I'm pretty sure they'd be taking this. It's right on the money where I've emptied it. No liners, no nothing. Just spotted a Gav over there and he said last 90 minutes it could just switch on. So but it sounds like the peg I drew for that guy this morning is doing the biz. Typical. We're all struggling for bites around here now. Well, I'm not. If I put 3 red worms on, I keep catching roach, but I don't want them. They all seem to be fishing, these guys, around about 75. Maybe a bit more, I'm not sure. Really launching it, but not sure why, because it just seems to be the same depth. Don't know. Must be just how they like fishing. It'd be interesting to see if anything had turned up on sort of that 42 metre line, which I nearly set up. You just never know, dear. Like I say, the bream tend to follow the wind. I did fancy over there rather than here with the wind behind it. It's comfortable, nice easy casting. So we have got that, I suppose. But I think that's the plan. See if we get a response on the worm. Right, let's reel this in. Let's give it a go. Right, we are all weighed in. Foulridge Reservoir. What a lovely place and what a great bunch of lads, and thank you Gav Smith for inviting me to come along and fish the open match. Now I've already done this before, I'm having to do it again because we lost the summary on the upload. Don't know how, but I've been having some internet problems at home, so I thought I'll get it done now. It's all off memory. I apologise if I get a couple of things wrong. Again, trying to remember the peg number. I think I drew 19 or 20, whichever one it was. When we got to his peg, there were some carpers had turned up, even though they knew they were a match, and they wouldn't move because they're all set up, so I had to move up a peg. I think we all did. So I fished 20 or 21, one from the end, and plumbing it up about 30-35 metres. I thought it was half a second deeper there, and I contemplated, shall I put a line in there with it being that little bit deeper? I've gone no, just on a bit of info, I've fished 60 metres, 2 second count, bang on 2 seconds with a 1.5 ounce bomb, nice clear bit. So I fished there, and the tactics were to put a couple of feederfuls out. I wasn't sure how they'd respond to feed. I think I've put 3 feederfuls out altogether, and a couple on the bottom, one at the top I've emptied. And I've gone out on traditional, and I've not had a sign. I've then eventually gone onto the hybrid feeder, and I've had an early fish. I think there was one caught to my right and one caught to my left. Lovely bream, very nice stamp fish, 4 or 5 pounders. So I thought, oh, nice one, we're in. Let's get out there and see if we can get another one. I didn't have a sign for hours, and eventually I have hooked into another one. And the guy 3 down from me, I noticed he was chucking on round about the line that I thought it was a little bit deeper. And he's caught a fair few more fish than I actually thought. I think he's had 7 bream off that line, so I think I made a mistake there. That was definitely a line I could have put a few feederfuls on and tried it later. So something to remember for the next time. I think I've had a roach and a perch, something like that, but nothing significant. And that was pretty much my day. I think I've weighed about 10 pounds for nowhere. The section was one with the guy who had 7. But if you remember, I drew the organiser, I think they called him Paul, I drew the organiser's peg for him, 41 was it, or something like that. And that peg has won the match. I think he's had about 40 pounds or so, and he's caught on worm. Gav Smith, when he phoned me halfway through, he was struggling. He was trying to do exactly what this guy was doing. No joy, but he's ended up catching a few in the end, and I think he's ended up 3rd overall, 2nd or 3rd overall. So well done, Gav. And I do apologise, I cannot remember the guy's name who won it. Pretty sure it was Paul. So well done you, what a mighty man you are. You are the mightiest fisherman of that day at Foulridge Reservoir. So it's a place, it's a lovely place. It's a place I will definitely visit again. Made me feel very welcome, so thank you guys, absolutely loved it. It's my kind of fishing, bream fishing. I just need to find some time to squeeze in a day or 2 to go back there. So it's a place I will definitely visit, and it's worth having a look at, people. Definitely worth having a look at. So that's pretty much the match. Learned a little bit. Definitely need to find an area that's slightly deeper and a little bit shorter. But they all do seem to catch long. The 2 guys to my right and left were chucking 80 metres or so. But they've only had 1 fish more than me apiece, so you know, there we go. It's in my range. I don't think you need to go that far from what I saw though, but I think it's an option. So there we go, people. Hope you've enjoyed that. Something a little bit different. Foulridge Reservoir, I've never heard of it before. First time I've ever fished it, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So yep, definitely be back. So that's that. I can't remember where I'll be fishing next. I know I've got Barson tomorrow, but it is a week or 2 later. So I hope you enjoyed the video. and hopefully we'll get a bit more footage from that place where I'm doing a little bit better. And a couple of things learnt, like I said, and we'll approach it a little bit different the next time round. So thanks for watching, people. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, it's absolutely free to subscribe to this channel, free. And if you click that notification bell, you get all our videos as we upload them, and a thumbs up would be very, very nice. So until next time, we'll see you on the bank, wherever it may be. I can't remember where I am. I can't remember a lot of things nowadays. So take care, people, and don't forget to fish on.